Well, welcome to this edition of ZoeTV. We have a great show for you. We have on today's show Mike Bowes. He's a resident of ours that's going to talk a little bit about the Parkinson's Golf Program. One of Steve's favorite things to talk about. They're going to tell you a little bit about the recent Golf Magazine article that was written about the program. And so he is phenomenal.
Mike is amazing.
We're so excited to be talking to him today. Yeah, he'll have a lot of good insight for us. And then also, our resident of inspiration today is Connie and Gene Sorensen. They are a lovely couple that have been on our campus since 2017. We're going to find out a little bit more about their background, what brought them to Glencroft, and what they're doing now, and how much this meant to them being nominated as Resident of Inspiration.
And then we're going to find out who theirs is.
And then we're going to find out who theirs is. So we're excited. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Well, we are so excited today because we have a lovely couple that lives here on campus joining us. They were nominated last week as our Residents of Inspiration, and we would like you to join us in welcoming Connie and Gene Sorensen. So welcome to the show.
Thanks for being
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I want to start right off by asking you, what brought you to Glencroft?
It's a long story. I'll try to shorten it up.
Okay. I love that.
I traded cars too often and got in financial difficulty.
Uh-huh.
So we had a lady come to our place to go over my finances with my son,
Okay.
and I was starting to cry. And he says, "Dad, you can't believe all the people you've helped in your life.
Yes.
So don't worry about it."
Aw.
So, but he brought us down here, and when we pulled in the front gate, we didn't get in any buildings or see anybody yet.
Uh-huh.
My wife said, "This is where I want to live." It seemed like the Midwest to her.
Didn't it?
Wow.
I think that's why we get so many people here from the Midwest. We really do.
And what was his name? Mike, that would show us
Mike
around.
Case.
He
Yes.
was very good to show
Yes,
us
he
around.
was. Yes.
And we were going into Casita first, and that was too expensive.
Uh-huh.
So we talked to the gal that was in charge over at the building where we live now.
Towers.
Oh, at the towers.
Towers.
Yes, yes, yes.
And she says, "I've got an apartment here. I think it would work for you guys." In between all this, Jean got sick and had pneumonia, and it got septic on her. And we lost her. 6 doctors said she was not going to live.
Huh.
So,
She's
so
a
her
miracle.
sister that was just on the phone came from Chicago to help us move. She was in the hospital. I think it was her way to get out of helping moving. But so she was in this hospital once, ended up in Mayo,
Uh-huh.
and the medicine they used to keep her alive, the blood started going out of these fingers, and that's why they had to cut them off, so it didn't have to take her whole hand.
Wow.
Prior to that, she played the piano, she did computer work, did all of our finance. And but I would like to start way back, quick if I may.
Okay, please do. We'd love that.
We met at a Bible camp when we were 15 years old,
Uh-huh.
and it took her 7 years to say yes, but she finally, and we ended up,
7 years.
I was on the board there, and we ended up being the directors there in 1976 for 18 years.
I remember you said that, yeah.
And that was such a delight. We were co-directors. She was the brains and I was the mouth. It ended up, I was the fundraiser for the camp and really enjoyed that.
Didn't you say you did that for 30 years?
We lived there 30 years.
30 years.
Our other son that lives here now came and took over our place. We were there at directors 18 and he was there 13 years.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
So we've been going back every summer, and they have a nice department we get to use, free
Aw.
food. But now they're closed with virus.
Well, I was
Oh,
going
well,
to say, so they
yes.
had to shut down
Yeah.
this summer with it?
Yeah.
And the camp is 94 years old.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Started by Danish immigrants,
Danish immigrant.
And then how many years have you two been married?
67 years.
67 years.
Married in 53.
Oh my goodness.
I think I've got that date right.
Congratulations,
One
you
of the
two.
things that's nice when I'm talking, my wife will go like this. So if you see her do that, then you tell me to shut up for a while.
She's cutting you off. Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's
But
wonderful.
we have just felt so welcome at Glencroft. I can't believe it. We've not been involved in a lot of the activities. We were down working out with Steve for a while, but our son is a pastor in a church, and that was where we were spending our time.
Oh, sure.
And he's out at Joe Max and 19th, built a barn to look like a church.
Oh my goodness.
But he started a church for young families, and also is the teacher at Grand Canyon.
Is he? Well, that's where Steve graduated
Yep,
from.
that's where I went.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, there's a lot of Grand Canyon
Yes.
connections around this campus.
Yes.
There's a lot of antelopes flying around.
Our oldest daughter just
He
granddaughter just graduated from Grand Canyon
He's
University.
teaching world religions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very cool.
And I got to tell you a quick story.
Okay.
This sister that was on the phone and her brother were here for a weekend.
Uh-huh.
And our son wanted to show us Grand Canyon. So we got down there just as chapel ended. You know how many come to chapel? Around 5,000.
Oh my goodness.
There wasn't 5,000 people when I went
know.
to school there. Total.
And
Exactly.
Mr. Mueller walked out.
Yeah.
And he knew my son because he taught there.
Okay,
He said,
all right.
Paul, can I help you? He said, we're looking for a golf cart. Just a minute, 5 minutes. He had a 6-passenger golf cart there to
How
show
great
us
is
all
that?
around the campus.
Oh my goodness.
And he
Helps
sent,
to know
that's
somebody.
sent
wonderful.
a driver, and I said, is this, he says this happens all the time with him. He really wants to care for people that come on campus.
Yeah.
Good place.
That's
and our
great.
grandson is the tech person there.
Is that right?
What's the name of his church?
Hope Church.
Okay.
You know where Happy Valley Mall is?
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
out in that area,
Okay.
a little bit north of there.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool.
But where the old ones are. So we've been watching it on TV on Sunday morning
Oh,
on our iPad, you
good.
know.
Yeah.
So now, how long have you been here at Glencroft?
We came in February 17,
February of 17.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Oh,
and I couldn't be happier.
That's great.
so
I
happy.
thought I had all my dreams. I won't go into my financial thing. You don't want to hear that.
She's going like this.
But I just ending up without money in your life. I thought that'd be the worst thing in the world, but I couldn't be happier being poor.
Aw.
I had
That's
to turn in a van I had,
wonderful.
and our son bought us an older Buick, and we're still driving that.
Well, I think because you're here, you're very rich. Your
Yes,
life is very
That's a great
rich.
state.
So
I think, yeah.
it's a wonderful thing. I want you to tell us about this book.
Okay, can you, Gene? You want to go
Well,
ahead?
I see, this is the one about, yeah. Okay, I
So
thought
who wrote the book?
I did,
You
You wrote that book.
Yes.
She put the whole thing together.
Wow.
yeah.
So Jean, you wrote this book, and what is it about?
It's about, I better look and see. The story of Okoboji Lutheran Bible Camp. Where,
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
where we were for 30 years.
So all the history and tradition of the
The
camp
history,
and all
yeah.
that you've seen.
That's
Yeah.
really
Wow,
nice.
that's great.
And now, where can people find that book?
They sell them at the bookstore there.
They sell them at the bookstore
Yeah.
at the camp.
Yeah, not here.
And tell us where exactly the camp is located
If you
again.
know Iowa at all,
I do know Iowa. My son-in-law's from Iowa.
where?
He is from a small town, Mount Union or Mount Pleasant or something,
There's
something
Mount
like
Pleasant.
that. There's Mount Pleasant.
There
That's
we go.
it. There it is.
One of our former friends is a coach there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he went to
I
high
don't
school. He
know.
grew up there. His parents are still
Mount
there.
Pleasant, I think. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I
get
bet
into
that
detail.
book
I'm not
does
sure.
justice to what that camp's all about. That's a lot of work. You can tell.
Well,
That's amazing. Well, all right. So I think we need to get to
Sure. Get to the
Can I
point.
say what this is?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we want to
There's
see
a
the
bunch
car.
of us guys that build these little cars.
Uh-huh.
They come from, if you have wood shutters, that side rail, what they cut off of there, we get free.
Okay.
And this is all volunteer. And they send these to kids all over the world that do not have toys.
Oh my
They don't
goodness.
sell them.
That is the cutest
amazing.
thing.
So
Yeah.
my job, I haven't been doing the last couple of weeks, but my job is to take the stick and draw traces of these cars. And then somebody picks all that stuff up out of one apple box, they can make 450 cars.
Oh my God.
Really?
And then that all gets distributed to these kids.
And say you're going to some foreign country, we'd ask you if you want to take some with you.
Oh, that's great.
What an amazing
And
program.
What a wonderful
But
idea.
they say when a kid gets a toy,
Yes.
changes his
Yeah.
life.
Yes,
Imagination, everything goes.
And I thought I
Absolutely.
would give you each one, but if you don't want it, that's
No,
fine.
I want one
would
for my
love
desk.
one.
Maybe you get two, I don't
Absolutely. I
No,
would
that's
love that.
We'd love
But
that.
it's
Thank
just a
you.
beautiful thing. I tried to get it started here. And they closed the shop down at Duncroft
Yeah.
at one time.
The woodworking shop?
And
Yeah.
then I said we could bring all the parts in and they could assemble them here.
Right.
But they were not interested, and that's fine. You know, you just ask.
Love
them.
that idea.
Yeah, that is
Especially
amazing.
when you know
and probably something we could reevaluate. Because I
Yeah.
know we have so many with Bill Beeman and all the wood shop guys that just have a heart for everybody. Like that would be amazing. Okay, so we quickly need to talk about
Okay, so who are you going to nominate for next week as Resident of Inspiration?
Lou Pulaski.
Lou
Pulaski.
Okay.
And the reason why
Yes.
I would sit at my table with my wife and look over, and he and his friend Estelle were just talking up a storm.
Uh-huh.
I finally went over there and I said, you know, you guys really impressed me. Sometimes us older people like that don't say anything. And so I went to work to get to know him. 93, he can sing songs from World War II, World War I,
Ah,
Yes.
and he does a lot of reading. He is this smart.
okay. He's going to sing
And-
for us next week.
Yes, we'll have him sing for us.
And yeah, he'd love to do that.
I'll tell you, we
One
will.
day in that lounge outside of our dining room, there was about 7 or 8 people gathered, and he walked up and he sat down. And a lady came, her first name was Mary. And I said, Lou, I want to introduce you to Mary. And he took off with the song, Mary, Mary.
Oh my gosh, that's
how
amazing.
great.
He makes me laugh.
Oh, that's great.
Well, we're going to call you Lou, and we're going to have you on the show next week.
Singing.
So, yes, and we're going to have you sing. So be waiting for my call, and congratulations.
Yes.
You have some wonderful friends
Yeah, you
here.
do. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, you two, for being on the show today. You were
Awesome.
fabulous.
Thank you for being part of Glencroft.
Appreciate
Aw,
you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Lish Vasquez, Dining Services Director at Glencroft Center for Modern Aging, and today I'm going to be making the Florentine egg white omelet. So what we're gonna have, you need some egg whites, some spinach, I have some shredded Swiss cheese, some diced tomato, red bell pepper, green bell pepper, and red onion chopped. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start off with a little bit of oil or butter in the bottom of your pan and get it heating. Then you're going to add your egg whites to the pan, like so. I'm gonna add my diced tomato, add my peppers and onions, and then my spinach. What you're gonna do is just make sure you're moving the egg away from the sides. So the more the liquid part can go underneath and the cooked can stay on the top. Just keep doing that. That way it won't burn in one spot on the bottom. You keep doing that. Just keep pushing the liquid part that's uncooked underneath. And eventually the whole thing will become evenly cooked. And that's the secret. So you can see that it's pulling, it's getting solid on this edge, and there's still a little bit of liquid, so you're just gonna pile that underneath, let it start cooking underneath. Just like that. A bit more. believe all our liquid. Now it is dry. Oh, I got a little bit of liquid there yet. That surprised me. Just want to make sure it's all liquidy so it's not runny. And when you're spreading and there's no liquid coming to the side of the pan, then you know you're good. Now this is the point where you're gonna flip, like that. There you go. See the color? That's just removing the white underneath. It kept it fresh so it never burned. And you're going to add your shredded Swiss cheese in there, like so. And you're just making sure everything's cooked through. Cheese gets melted. Okay. I think we're done. Now, take your omelet. You're gonna do this. And you're gonna gently fold it like that. Ta-da! You can garnish with some more cheese if you'd like, some chopped spinach. But that is the egg white Florentine omelet. I'm Lish Vasquez, Dining Services Director at Glencroft Center for Modern Aging, and eating healthy can taste good. Happy cooking.
We are so excited as this part of the show to bring Mike Bowes, our poster child, for our Parkinson's immersion golf program. You know, our Parkinson's program as a whole is got so much traction on this campus. And we're doing so many amazing things. And this week, we added 2 new Parkinson's participants in this journey. But Mike and a few of the other guys was the ones that ventured into this golf world. Right. And something that I have been wanting to do for so long, being my background in the golf. And something that Mike and I really bonded over early in his training was this golf stuff. And I can remember back, Mike, when you started with us in beta, I think you got in on beta 2. Yeah. We weren't doing Parkinson's yet. We were just doing ZoeLife, fall prevention strategies, all of our physical pillar stuff. But the Parkinson's stuff was on my radar of what we wanted to do with Mike and so many of the other ones that came in.
We had quite a few Parkinson's residents.
That's right. That's exactly right. And kind of working with Mike and understanding what his red thread, if you will, is of what motivated him, I found out quickly it was golf.
That's right.
And it really was like, I was back at Kierland working with some of my Parkinson's guys there that were still playing golf. And I thought, man, how fun would it be to get Mike doing some of the dust off the old protocol from Kierland and use some of the golf tools to our advantage of working. So Mike, if we tell our viewers kind of what that transformation was like to be able to kind of do some golf stuff again.
Well, it's pretty exciting. I hadn't played golf for about 10 years because of this disease, and it's nice getting back into it. And so I knew that this guy was a real pro at the golf business and coming from Kierland. And so I followed his lead, and he trained me. He established my core through physical training and got me ready for it.
Well,
and
so how did it feel, Mike, when you took that first swing?
Oh, it felt great. Felt great.
It's just like riding a bicycle, right?
Yeah, just like riding a bicycle. So I'm gonna back up just for a second. As Mike started doing our golf-specific programming, our performance center is so well equipped with, I mean, it's like an upscale physical therapy clinic meets almost like a very high-level golf gym, where we had equipment in there that I only dreamed of having at Kierland. Yeah. So I was like a kid in the candy store with Mike, being able to dive back into my golf roots, but have access to this virtual reality equipment where Mike and I could put these goggles on, I could get him a golf club and be able to swing and do things that he is in real time.
Right.
Looking at a golf course, seeing like a simulation of a golf swing.
Exactly.
But being able to manipulate and make sure his balance was intact and that he was functionally moving correct before he went out and conquered that first swing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think being so lucky to work where we work and having Glencroft provide the resources to have so much of this in play in our performance center, whereas, you know, Mike, we were coming in, you were working out 3, 4, 5 days a week.
Yes.
And I would get him for an hour each time. And every time he would come in, we, like you said, work on his core strength, work on your flexibility, but it was all in a golf way. And then to be able to throw those headsets on, what'd you think of that VR? It was something new for you, right?
That's something else. That's just something out of the world.
So Mike, how long had it been since you had been able to play golf?
Been 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
And prior to that, you played for like 10 years.
Oh, I've played for 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
He was an avid golfer. And I think what resonated with me was Golf Magazine called and caught wind of what we were doing. And they had done some stories on what I was doing with tour players back at Kierland. And they caught wind that I had left that industry and came over to senior living to pursue programs that was going to help senior living. And this guy called and he said, I want to run this up the flagpole of a story on what you're doing with Parkinson's. And when I sat there and kind of facilitated the interview during COVID, it was over the phone, and Mike was being interviewed by the editor from Golf Magazine, and to listen to the context Mike had of what you missed most about golf wasn't golf, it was your buddies, right?
That's right.
Being able to go play with your
That's right.
friends.
My friends.
The socialization,
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
And I think that's what's lost upon a lot of people out there when you hang up the sticks and not able to play golf because of Parkinson's or another disease. You lose a lot, especially guys, because this is where we bond. We don't sit and chit chat and read books or whatever. We want to bond, driving a golf cart and having a beer and being able to play golf. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. That's right.
So for us to be able to do that together, I mean, Mike, when we went over to the Wigwam, who has been instrumental in this process, and I want to make sure everybody knows the Wigwam has been so generous with their time, and the golf academy that is at Wigwam with Warren Shute has just enabled us to have, it's kind of hard to have a golf program without a golf course.
Of course.
So, but to be able to get the Wigwam to buy in to our vision and be able to get that academy to buy in and say, you have access to our team, access to the golf course, and for us to be able to shuttle these guys over and to bring the clubs over and get over to Wigwam. What's that experience like, to be able to go hit balls?
It's a great experience. The Wigwam is truly just a class course.
It is.
And it's been a classic.
Beautiful.
It's been a class program for many years.
That's right.
And it's really good place to play golf.
So when we go over there, we get access. What's nice is that the training center is indoor and outdoor. So if it's hot, we could hit balls inside, right? And so we usually start outside, we'll hit some balls. I mean, it's hot out right now.
Yes, it is.
But, you know, it's nice because we're all able to social distance, spread out. When we get hot, one at a time goes in the facility, and they're in these hitting bays, and we're hitting from inside to outside, and we've got all of the gadgets. And they've got robotic arms that we can put these guys in that make them swing. Short game facility right there, and then, but the highlight is literally getting in the cart, going to that first tee, and just teeing it up, isn't it?
We're looking forward to fall, I'm sure. When
it's
weather
hot,
gets
right?
nice again.
It's hot, but listen,
But hey, when you don't play golf anymore,
I know.
and I don't play much anymore, it is like we'll play in whatever
Yes,
condition.
of course.
But going out and playing, there's nothing better than watching him just lazy draw right over the middle. In the Golf Magazine, I love the way he told that story of his first hole, shot to shot.
Yeah.
And he said, sweetest double bogey I ever had. I mean, that's a pretty cool statement. He lipped out for bogey. We were right there though, right? But tell us in kind of closing what it was like, because your family came out to watch that first time we went over to the Wigwam. And what was that like to have them out there and kind of like old times?
It was great. It was great, especially my youngest daughter. She's quite an athlete herself, and she was a gymnast. And it was fun following her all those years, and she says it's fun following you now.
Oh,
That's
that's great.
special.
That's
It
very
is
cool.
special.
Well, he was like a celebrity out there too, because he had paparazzi everywhere. He had Golf Magazine photo people. We had our photo people. His daughter brought her. We had everybody around the wigwam was like, "Who is this guy?" We had an entourage of 14 golf carts going to the back of the range.
That was a great experience. I'm
It was a
sure
great
you'll
experience.
always remember that.
I always will.
That's great.
He is our local celebrity. We just did a Parkinson's luncheon last week
Yes.
with all of the group.
Yes.
And everybody was so excited about his story that had come out, and they
I'm
all caught
sure.
wind, and everybody had read it. And I looked over, and Mike had a line of people waiting for autographs on the page. It was unbelievable. Am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right.
It was unbelievable. They all want his autograph. I love it. It is so cool.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah, it's just the thought that counts. He just wrote XO, Mike Bose. Very cool. Well, Mike, thanks for joining us,
Thank
man.
you.
are truly a poster child of what
That's
I know
right.
is going to be the program that is going to be drawing others to move here from Sun City, from Scottsdale.
I know.
You were that role. You were a Scottsdale guy that came here for the program.
That's right.
Yeah.
And we hope that more follow your lead. You're a
Great.
great example, man.
Well, great. You got a great program here.
Thanks, buddy.
Super.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much.
What a show.
I know. This
What
is
a show.
another great one.
Millie, amazing show.
He does this every time. Honestly.
Anytime that we can talk about golf with Mike Bose
I
and
know.
talk about the wigwam
I
and
know.
everything that involves this,
It's really
excited.
true. I know. Look at him. He has to carry this thing
I
around.
do. It's like my.
Oh my gosh.
But how often do we get to talk to
I know.
somebody that has made national headlines?
Right.
Golf Magazine, that's a
Right.
big deal. And the amount of exposure that we got with that program, I've been fielding calls left and right, and I just love hearing the horse's mouth, our poster child, on what it means
and
to him.
I loved asking the question of how it felt when he took that first swing with the golf club. You know, he said he hadn't been able to golf for about 7 years. And prior to that, he'd been a golfer
Yeah,
for
20,
like
30 years.
20, 30 years. So, I mean, can you imagine getting back out on a golf course, especially
right.
with a group of people
Yep.
that you enjoy?
Yeah.
And then, you know, that first swing. So that was really exciting to talk to him
He's-
about
he's a
that
great
and
guy.
how much this means. Because we all know, you know, Parkinson's and other diseases, they take something away from
Yeah,
us.
they take
And so
joy
They
in what
take
you
the
really
joy
love
and
to
the
do.
things that we love to do. And so for him to be able to get that back is just amazing. And then talking to Connie and Gene Sorensen, what a lovely couple. We thoroughly enjoyed.
I could have spent a whole half hour just listening
and
to them.
talking about 30 years at this camp
Beautiful.
that they, you know, loved in Iowa, and
The toy.
yes, and the
What a
cars
great
that he
program with the
makes.
cars.
I know.
Oh, I'm excited. He gave us each one,
Yes.
going right on my
Okay,
desk.
Yes, I know.
Love it.
I
Absolutely
agree.
love it.
You know, Jean wrote a book, and she didn't really show us the book itself, but it's all about the camp that they worked at for 30 years. And there were some beautiful pictures in there, and she put it all together. So, I mean, something for her to be so proud of, and they sell it in the gift shop
Yep.
at the camp.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was just, what a great conversation. So I hope you all enjoyed it.
Great show,
Yes,
as always.
It was so good.
Good.
Thank you for joining us today.